love it.
Ooh,
Damn.
yeah.
Mark, I love it, buddy. Love it. So, Mark, you have a new launch, a new kickoff happening. Tell me about this. What's going on?
Brother, our mutual friend Dave Howard has come through for me. Um, he believes, as I believe, that the veteran support community, and you know this, is way
Mm,
too fractured. Too much infighting and bullshit, and people competing for donation dollars. And he sees my show as, among other things, as sort of a bridge to bridge all those gaps because I have everybody on, right?
yeah.
Almost everybody. There's the odd person that I'm like, nope,
Well,
nope.
the good thing though is, Mark, is that's a small list for you. That's a
That's a
good thing,
very, very short list.
and that's
Yeah.
a good thing. Yeah.
But there's lots of people that I care about and I think are doing a great job and they're fighting with each other. And there's other people like, well, I'll just say it. The Royal Canadian Legion is really hit or miss. You and I both love Northwest Command and
Yeah.
Mike and Sean there, and like they're great, right?
Absolutely.
Great dudes. And is Sean still there? Sean
Sean's
Wood?
still there. Yes.
Okay, so I mean they're great,
Hmm.
and they're suing Dave.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? You know, uh, when veteran organizations, veteran support organizations fight each other, the veterans lose the most because
Hmm.
those resources, that time, the energy, and the money goes to legal battles instead of veterans. So the veterans are the first one to lose, and plus this unneeded stress and anxiety that each veteran organization has to dish out. Everybody loses when
Yeah.
when we fight amongst each other instead of just picking our lanes and stay in our lanes. Everybody's rowing in the same direction. We're all trying to help people, And anyway, that's part of the reason that Dave's uh, helping me. As we were saying off air, I'm pretty good at doing the interviews, at getting the impossible guests and bringing them on and doing the digging,
Hmm.
creating the content. I'm not a producer, right? That's not me. And because I've been doing this since 2019, so it's been a while now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing it all on my own dime, whether I'm traveling or the gear that I'm using, and I've been happy to do it, but I've got my limits. So Dave has provided me with three cameras. I'm only using this one right now, but it's a hell of a lot better than a webcam. This is a professional camera that I'm using.
Yeah.
So all the gear that I needed, new support mic booms, studio lights, um, you name it. I'm covered. I'm good. And most importantly, he's provided me with a kick-ass producer. Her name is Jessika, and she's unbelievable. So right now, Jessica's working on yesterday's show, and she's making a video trailer for it, and we're gonna be promoting that before releasing the show. So that's the right way
Yeah.
to do it. How I've always done it in the past is just doing a live, send next one, right?
Yeah.
No production value at all, because I don't have that capability, the time or bandwidth. And now I do because it's not me, it's Jessica doing it. And
Excellent.
so we're going to be going to the next level. And Dave has got a freaking Rolodex. Of course, nobody under the age of 50 probably knows what a Rolodex is, but he's got a network of people because he owns the event group. That's his money making company. And like A-list celebrities like Alec Baldwin and
Hmm.
he's buddies with Prime Minister Harper. Like he's in that group, right? So hopefully he's going to send a couple of them my way, and as well as I've done with the guest list, we're going to do even a little bit better.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's we're leveling up, as they say.
So I want to ask you, so with all the content you had before, what's happening with that stuff?
It's staying put,
Okay.
although Jessica's going back into the archives of the 320 episodes, whatever I've done, and she's republishing them. I don't know if she's going to do all of them, but she's cherry picking and republishing them on new channels. So the
Okay.
old channels stay the same, like they're still there.
Okay.
Um, and it's going to be taking more time between shows because we're actually producing them now for the video content, putting in the Canadian Legacy Project ads in there. Um, yeah, so it's going to take more time, but she's republishing the old shows, making it so it's not just looking like a Zoom call, but there's different camera angles like zoom in, zoom
You mean
out.
like this one here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is cool, but there's a higher level of production than just a Zoom call, right? And so she's gonna do her magic and reproduce a lot of the shows, create clips, and just try to build it. And we have a realistic goal of 1 million subs.
Hmm.
I've been pulled off YouTube a couple of times, a couple of my shows, which is very disturbing to me because it's a trauma recovery podcast,
Yeah.
so you don't like something one of my guests said, and with no art, like there's no arguing with it. They pull you, and that there's nothing you can do about it. Like, I had Catherine Christensen on. She's a lawyer, for God's sakes, doing major cases for veterans and didn't like something that she said, so they pulled her off. Pulled off the whole episode, and not a thing I can do about it. And she didn't say anything that was untrue, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows what the criteria is? It's the censorship is a little bit disturbing. So I don't want to be build a YouTube channel just to have start monetizing it, just to have the carpet pulled out from under me, completely out of my control.
For some
So
arbitrary unknown reason, right?
yeah,
Which is not cool.
so Jess is our my producer's making a new YouTube channel, but also a Rumble channel because on Rumble I'm safe, right? You build it once and you're good. And she's making, so if you see other accounts on YouTube, X, wherever else that look like mine, but they're a little different, that's Jessica making new channels starting from scratch. We had a lot of conversation about how to do that. She's like, no, we're just going to start from scratch and try to build it the right way. So everything gets published, has the proper thumbnails, because there's a formula for thumbnails. If you're going to build one, you should have at least one face, preferably two, a logo, and some text. That's the rule, right? And when you publish with that as your thumbnail, it just works better. The algorithms like it more, and I don't even know how to do any of that crap.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all
So
foreign to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all gobbledygook to me. So, but that's what Jess takes in school. So that's what she's doing. It's
So I
pretty
want to
pretty
have
great.
you on today because of all this extra information here. There's all this pre-launch information that it would hopefully answer questions for certain people, right? Like why you did this, and how it came about, and that kind of stuff. And we covered most of that. But how do you feel about this new bigger launch? And what is going to change for your any like? Is there going to be any change of your content, or is this going to be the same Mark Meincke program, or what?
So the mission hasn't changed, John.
Right.
The mission: save lives, relieve pain by making help for PTS injuries easily accessible, with a vision of a world where the path to recovery is clear. So I'm still an aggregate for healing modalities. I'm still reaching out to people whenever I see something new or a conversation that hasn't been had yet. And I can't believe I'm over 300 episodes, and I think I'm just getting started. Like,
Yeah.
the well runs deep. Oh my God, there are so many different modalities out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and new conversations and technology changes, right? Like new discoveries are made, new modalities evolve. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing this for a while.
Yeah.
You figure I would have caught it all up by now, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going to continue with that, continue finding healing modalities, because you got to meet people where they're at, John. You know, in peer support,
Yeah.
we meet people where they're at. If they're only ready for one thing, then that's the thing that we meet them. We don't try to make them fit into our box. We adjust to them, meet them where they're at, right?
Yeah.
We have met, you and I, people that are like, fuck no, I can't do therapy. No, 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 no. That's fine. What can you do? And then you do that thing. Whatever the thing is that you can do is the thing that we do. And over time, confidence, comfort builds, and then you can do the next thing, and then the next thing.
Yeah. Okay, that phrase that you just said there, that is, when people ask, what's the difference between like going to a social worker, a psychologist, or whatever, and what peer support does. Peer support, we're uncertified. Like we don't have a board of or college of physicians, that kind of stuff that we have to answer to, or those sorts of things. What we do is exactly what you said. We meet them where they're at, right? Because with everything else, you have to go to their office, to their clinic, their hospital, their whatever. It's you have to get out of your house, go to them. Whereas peer support, it's we have to meet them where they're at, mentally, physically, whatever it is, and then we work with them a little bit and then get them into the clinical care. That's the whole job. The difference is that we've been there and done that. We know what the pain train feels like, or the house of pain, the victim house, whatever you want to call it. We go there and meet them there because we can get out.
Yeah, and it's there's something really special, and I'm still trying to flesh it all out. You know,
Hmm.
the true power of peer support. I think I'm going to have to write an article or something. That's where my brain works the best. But peer support, well, let's start with accessibility,
Hmm.
right? You want peer support? Just listen to my show. Poof, peer support,
Done.
right?
Yeah.
It's not interactive, but it still hits the same markers. You hear your story in somebody else, right? And you go, oh my God, yeah, that is how I feel. I couldn't articulate it myself. I knew that something was up. I just didn't know how to say it. I didn't know how to describe it. But that person described it perfectly.
Yeah.
And holy crap, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy. I'm not weak. I'm not a loser. I'm not a psycho. You know,
It
the,
helps
the,
remove the
the,
stigma because you're talking to other people that are dealing with the same stuff you are, right? And that's a really big thing. It's such a relief. I mean, like when you find out someone goes, yeah, I thought I was living with that by myself for the last 10 years, but wow, I got a room full of people have the same thing. The amount of stress, you could literally see it just lift off their shoulders, and then they go like, wow, there's a level of amazement, there's a level of surprise, there's a level of oh my God, and just like unexplainable words to go like wow, right? So that's
and
the beauty of it. And as you're right, it takes different formats. Your
the,
program is awesome.
the other major part of peer support is that it is, oh God, I don't want to say safe space, but that's exactly what it is. You know,
Yeah.
um, and what that means is that you're in a place, if it's done right, where there is no stigma,
Hmm.
there's no judgment, there's just this is who I am, and this is what I'm experiencing, and that's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to not be okay, sort of idea.
Bingo.
And you and I in peer support groups have seen the relief of people because they suddenly feel connection. Post-traumatic stress injuries are injuries of disconnection, right?
Right.
They tend to isolate people. They stay in their basement. They don't get out. They don't go to crowds. They don't go to downtown. They don't go to parties. They don't go to Calgary Stampede. They don't go, they don't do these things. And not even a shopping mall. Fuck it. I'll just buy it on Amazon, right? Let it come to my
Yeah.
door. So they isolate. And it also goes the other ways. We've seen people uh, be part of every group imaginable, right? Because
Yeah.
that's how they group. But what they're it, it it is a injury of disconnection, And that disconnection is because you've been rejected by society however many times,
Hmm.
or you've rejected it, right? Either way, because like, who are these weird civvies? I don't get them. I don't understand them. And if you feel like a fish out of water, that you feel rejected, and that sucks. Rejection sucks because it's disconnection. It's saying you don't belong here. So whether it's somebody just transitioning out of the military, or just because you're suffering from trauma, you feel different from everybody else because of that trauma injury.
Yeah.
You don't feel like there's a place for you. So you come to a peer support group where there's other people in a similar position. It's never the same. I never say the same, but a similar position, right? Feeling
Mhm.
similar things that you can relate to. Oh, if the injury is disconnection, then connection has to be the antidote, and it is. So
Yeah.
you only feel that connection in a safe space, safe from stigma, safe from being rejected.
Yeah. And you're right. We don't like using the word safe space, but that's exactly what it is, though, because
It is.
of the rules that we put in place, right? Like there's no judgment. You don't
No
sh-
war
you
porn,
don't there's no war porn. You don't show up inebriated and or like on screen. Like you just don't
which
do
we've
it.
had, right?
We've had, but we're polite with the people. We're understanding with them, but
Yeah.
it's that commonality of rules and structure, and it's so that everybody is there for the same reason, and that's the big part. It's that connection. We're here for the same reason, and so let's talk about it. We do reinforce we're not doctors. We can't fix it for you, but we can talk about what it is
Yeah.
in our own plain text language is what we do, and it's that we can help limp people into clinical therapy, right? And we are still here for them during that whole therapy session for them as well. So it's great. I love the fact that it takes different forms. I mean, that I also work with Wayfinders Wellness Society, because for me, my peer support that I offer is asses in the seats, and we do the talking portion of it, right? We do the ed portion of it. Your peer support is different because it's a radio broadcast. They are like go out into an area and do like the walk and talking portion of peer support. So right here, we're talking about three different modalities in one single quick conversation, and there are other modalities of peer support. But essentially, it's creating that safe space. Your program, people know what the barriers, parameters are of your show. You're there for one reason, right? They know that. They're in my group for one reason, and same thing, right? So it's beautiful. It works together as a team. Dave Howard is doing a great job by sponsoring you to do this and to give you the equipment to like up your game kind of thing, right? And it's awesome. I made a connection with him yesterday. I'll be dropping some paperwork in today. Okay. So I mean, we're looking forward to
Outstanding.
this. Sorry?
Outstanding. That's good
Yeah,
to hear.
it is. We do need the support. And I like the fact that it's all looking like, everyone's going towards one thing. It's like put your differences aside and let's get on with the business of saving lives.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. And getting under one umbrella is good. Dave's made it incredibly clear to me that it's like, Mark, I'm not going to tell you who to have on your show. Like he probably said it 8 times. He was very concerned. He's like, it's your show. I got no say. Like I was like, okay, buddy, I'm still going to be careful about who I have on because I don't want to lose your sponsorship.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get into the freedom movement a little bit and around the edges of it, but also from an angle that makes sense to the show, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that too, Mark, because I mean, what I do see is I see within the community there's a lot of stovepiping or there's a lot of allegiance building kind of stuff. And it's like the one thing I said to you ages ago was like, you got to stay neutral because you need to be broad spectrum. What I'm doing as well is the same thing. I'm very non-allegiance. I have to be, right? I'm here to save lives. End of story. People may belong to whatever odd group over here or group there. Maybe they don't talk outside of my house, but in my house, there's none of that kind of stuff in my house. right? Like you've been part of my peer group. There's no allegiance building within there. It's just not allowed, right? You're a vet. There, that's what qualifies right there. You're a vet. You're
Yeah.
injured and you're here. That's the end of the story right there for criteria.
Yeah, and that's it. I ran into a guy at the Whistle Stop Cafe 2 days ago,
Mm,
and I saw his veterans plates on his motorcycle, and he was a service battalion reservist for 20 years, and sees the Patricia tattoo on my hand, and I made sure that I called him brother.
yeah.
I said thank you for your service, and because it means a lot. One, reservist. Two, service battalion, right?
Yeah.
So to have an infantier, a force infantier, treat you as a complete equal, right?
Hmm.
That's a big deal because that doesn't happen all the time. It
Hmm.
should. It should happen. That should be how it is, but it isn't. And so that's. I think it's important. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that when it comes to certain things, we need to and reinforce that we're all under one flag.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah, we wore the same uniform, we're under one flag. At times that's what really truly matters the most, right? Like at the end of the day, we cannot leave anybody behind, right? And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I mean, honest to God, Mark, I could have been at a job this whole week, packed up my freaking business, and been at a job at $65 an hour. I think I would have been empty had I taken that offer, right? Because I'm not making a lot of money right now. I'm doing this I mean, I'm on IRB and I'm getting paid to do this.
Hmm.
I get that check. I can sit at home and do nothing, but I'm not. I'm out here doing this, right? And I'm scraping by, literally scraping by because vets need it. And I'm not doing it for the glory. I'm not doing it for the pats on the back. I'm
But
doing
we're
it.
doing it for ourselves too. Like the
There you
guy I
are.
had
We're doing
on
it for
yesterday,
ourselves as well.
John Bell, right? He's like, I'm doing what I'm doing, and everybody's giving me all these praises, but I'm doing this to stay alive too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've always been very open about that. Oh, Mark, you're doing this, and you're helping so many people. Like, yeah, but I'm helping me first,
Bingo.
and it's
Yeah.
okay to be selfish,
Yeah.
right? This gives me a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
I think it's important, and I've created a life for myself that works for me. It's custom made, right? And this show is custom made. I do it in the way that I can do it, not in the way I should do it. I need help, but it's the way
Yeah.
I can do it, right?
Yeah.
So I focus on what I can do, not on what I can't. Work the strengths, hire the weaknesses, right? That's how I built this house.
Yeah.
Work the strengths, hire the weaknesses, and
Yeah.
do what you can do, but I do it for me because if I'm not in good shape, I can't be a good dad. I can't be a good husband. I can't help anybody if I can't help myself first. It's
Yeah.
not selfish to look after yourself. It's essential. You have to look after yourself first. You
I just
have to
went
look
through
out after number one.
I just went through a couple hour long um evaluation, okay? And the person said, "Well, you're not displaying any of these particular things." I'm like, "Well, yeah, because they are now under control because of the way I've structured my life. From the outside looking in, you're not going to see anything wrong. Anything wrong.
But you change the formula, and holy fuck,
That's exactly right. You know
yeah.
what? If you put me into a work environment where I have to report in at 8 to 4 and do this, it's going to fail.
Oh
But
yeah.
but from the outside looking in, people look at your show and they're like, "There's nothing wrong with Mark Meincke. He's not fucked up." Or they look at John Senior, they go like, "This dude's all over the fucking place. I see what's
we
going on here. Like
Well, that's
he's not
because
fucked up.
we must be scamming the system,
You
right?
got to be scamming the system." But the reality is like you rock the boat by 1 degree,
Yeah.
okay? Our
Wheels
lives
come right off the
unravel.
bus.
We're off the bus.
Yeah. No, that's it, John. Like over the years, you and I have learned at what point we speed wobble,
Yeah,
right? And how to throttle back. And that speed wobble happens if you're going too fast or too slow.
or too slow. Yeah,
You're going too slow, you're going too fast. Either way, it's bad. So
yeah,
we've both found that sweet spot. And when we start to feel that shimmy, we know we're either going too slow or too fast.
When
And
that wheel on the bus comes off and stops going round and round.
yeah, 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 it's not good.
It's
You
not
know,
good, not good.
it's
Okay,
not good.
Mark, I think I have to wrap it, buddy. Because I usually try to keep these things pretty short, but
Well, good conversation. Send me a link.
yeah.
I'll publish this on my show too. I'll
Yeah,
send it
this
to
is
my.
gonna be. I'm gonna post this up immediately up on my page, on the Alberto Rico page, Mark. And I really wanted to get this out there before your official relaunch.
Send me the download link or whatever, or access so that I can send it to my producer though.
Copy that. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. All
All
right.
right.
Thank
Good
you so much
convo,
for your
brother.
time, Mark. It was a great talk.
All right, buddy.
You take care. Have a great day, guys. Hey, that outro instead of the intro. Do it, man. Do it. All right. Take care. Have a great day. We'll see you.